Hello and welcome to the Regulating Water and Nitrogen Levels in the Body revision video from scienceworksheets.co.uk. Please like, subscribe and comment to support the channel. Water and mineral ions are lost from the body in a variety of ways. Excretory organs, such as the lungs, allow exhaled air to lose water and there's no control. The skin is an excretory organ, and through sweating, water, ions and urea are lost, again there's no control. The kidney is also an excretory organ, and substances lost include water, ions, urea, but this can be controlled because it's regulated by the body. Osmotic changes in cells. Water can enter or leave animal cells by osmosis. If the body cells lose or gain too much water by osmosis, they do not function efficiently. If the body cells gain too much water, they can swell and burst. If the body cells lose too much water, they shrivel up. Therefore, it is important to maintain water levels in the body. Function of kidneys. The kidneys have two main functions: filter the blood to produce urine, maintain water balance in the body. Filtering the blood by the kidneys to produce urine. Each kidney contains about 1 million nephrons, which act as filtering units. As the blood passes through the kidney, it's filtered to remove excess substances. Substances filtered out of the blood by the kidneys include glucose, amino acids, mineral ions, urea, and water. Substances not filtered out of the blood by the kidneys include blood cells and protein. This is because they are too large, and after filtration, selective reabsorption will reabsorb useful substances such as glucose, some mineral ions, and water. Substances that are not reabsorbed are excreted from the body in the urine. You will need to analyze data on kidney function. So we have two columns for the substances: the amount in the blood before filtration and the amount in the urine after filtration. And we can see the glucose has gone from 90 to 0, and this means the glucose was completely reabsorbed. So it was present before filtration, but it's absent after, which means that all of the glucose has been reabsorbed back into the blood. Ions, you can see that there is 60 before and 20 after, and that's because some ions have been reabsorbed back into the blood. And the urea has actually become more concentrated, so there's more in the urine than there was in the blood. And this is partly because water has been reabsorbed, so the urea concentration will increase. Nitrogen balance and deamination. When we eat foods containing proteins, the proteins are digested using protease enzymes to form amino acids. The amino acids are absorbed into the blood from the small intestine. Excess amino acids undergo a process called deamination in the liver to form ammonia. Ammonia is toxic, so it's converted into urea for excretion. Deamination is the removal of the amino group from an amino acid. See the image below. Hormonal control of water. Receptors in the hypothalamus of the brain will detect the water content of the blood. Now, if there's a normal water level in the body and the person undergoes dehydration, then these receptors will detect this, and the pituitary gland will secrete antidiuretic hormone ADH into the blood, so more ADH is released. This will make the kidney tubules more permeable to water, so more water is reabsorbed, and it results in a smaller volume of more concentrated urine, and so this will restore the normal water level in the body. Let's look at the opposite example. If there is a normal water level in the body and hydration occurs, this means that the blood is too dilute, so the pituitary gland will secrete less ADH. This means the kidney tubules will reabsorb less water, so a larger volume of more dilute urine is produced, and so the normal water level in the body is restored, and this feedback mechanism is controlled by negative feedback. Kidney failure treatments. When the kidneys fail, urea builds up in the blood, which is toxic. The water and ion balance becomes uncontrolled. And there are two main treatment options: kidney dialysis and kidney transplant. Kidney dialysis is used when the kidneys fail to remove urea, excess ions and excess water, and it works by diffusion across the partially permeable membrane. Dialysis fluid contains normal concentrations of glucose and ions, but will contain no urea, and this ensures that the urea diffuses out of the blood, but the glucose does not diffuse out of the blood because there isn't a concentration gradient. It also helps to ensure that the correct ion balance is maintained. How dialysis works. The blood flows from the patient into a dialysis machine. The blood flows past the dialysis fluid. The blood and the dialysis fluid are separated by a partially permeable membrane. Urea diffuses from the blood into the dialysis fluid. The useful substances, which are the glucose, remain in the blood, and the clean blood is then returned to the patient. We have a zoomed-in version of the dialysis machine. The concentration of glucose in the dialysis fluid is equal to that of the blood. You can see the little green hexagons. So this means the glucose will not diffuse out of the blood, but the concentration of urea is greater in the blood than in the dialysis fluid, and so the urea will diffuse from the blood into the dialysis fluid where it's taken away, and you can see this with the orange circles marked with a U. Advantages to dialysis is no major surgery, can be used immediately, and no donor is needed. Disadvantages to dialysis is that it's time consuming. Each session is about 4 hours and several sessions per week are needed. It's expensive long term, and the patient has to have a strict diet and fluid limits. Kidney transplants. A kidney transplant is a treatment for organ failure. This is where a failed organ is replaced by a donor organ. For kidneys, the new kidney is surgically inserted into the body. There is a risk that the recipient's immune system may reject the new donor organ, because it will have different antigens to the recipient's own cells. The risk of rejection can be reduced by tissue typing, finding a close match, or using immunosuppressant drugs which suppress the immune system. However, this can increase the risk of the recipient developing an infection. Advantages of a kidney transplant. No more dialysis sessions needed. More normal lifestyle, more cost effective, long term. Disadvantages to a kidney transplant. There's a risk of organ rejection and a risk of surgery, and the patient will need immunosuppressant drugs, which can increase the risk of infections. Thank you for watching. See our revision notes, the link is in the description.